Good afternoon, saints. We'll go right into Proverbs 16, and we stopped at 20, but we'll read it in its entirety out of the familiar translation, and then we'll hear another translation, which I pray will help our understanding. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits, plural. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made all things for himself. The Lord hath made all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Everyone, though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresseth not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver? The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. He that laboreth, laboreth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes to devise froward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. If it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast in the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. Let's hear it another way. Give an ear. A person is responsible to prepare his heart, but how the tongue speaks is from Yah. All a man's ways are pure in his own view. All a man's ways are pure in his own view. All a man's ways are pure in his own view. But Yahweh's the Spirit. If you entrust all you do to Yah, your plans will achieve success. But you got a plan. Forgive me, we say Yahweh. Yah made everything for its purpose, even the wicked for the day of disaster. Yah detests all those with proud hearts. Be assured that they will not go unpunished. And I'll read that another way. Yah detests all those with proud hearts. Be assured that we that practice that will not go unpunished. Grace and truth atone for iniquity, and people turn from evil through fear of Yah. When a man's ways please Yah, he maketh even the man's enemies be at peace with him. Better a little with righteousness than a huge income with injustice. A person may plan his path, but Yah directs his steps. And then you can read it this way. A person may plan his path. But see, we're taught, you don't want to get in front of God. You can't. Oh, I don't want to do anything. Don't worry about it. He got it. See, well, the way we were taught is you can plan all you want, but God will direct your steps. But another way is you can plan. It's all right. God is not nervous if you plan. You know why he's not nervous? And I'm not saying this like I'm some authority on the Most High. He's in a class all by himself. He doesn't get nervous because he's planning your plan. He's planning my plan. So it's all right to plan your path. Divine inspiration is on the lips of the king, so his mouth must be faithful when he judges. That's the same for leaders. Divine inspiration is on the lips of the leader, so his or her mouth must be faithful when they judge. The balance and scales of justice have their origin in Yah. All the weights in the bag are his doing. It is an abomination for a king or leader to do evil, for the throne is made secure by righteousness. The king should delight in righteous lips, and he should love someone who speaks what is right. The king's anger is a herald of death, and one who is wise will appease it. Appease is like soothe. Appease doesn't mean stir up, negatively influence. When the king's face brightens, it means life. Isn't this real different from what we read earlier? When the king's face brightens, it means life. His favor is like the clouds that bring spring rain. They asked a question, but they wrote it like a statement. It says, how much better than gold it is to gain wisdom? Those of you that are in the stock market say, I don't know. Right now, gold going for right much. How much better than gold it is to gain wisdom? Yes, rather than money, choose to gain understanding. Now, because of the way we've been preached to and taught, we don't have a problem not going after money because we think money is evil. Money is neutral. But that's a whole nother teaching. Avoiding evil is the highway of the upright. He who watches his step preserves his life. So there's nothing wrong with being cautious. In fact, you should be cautious. Pride goes before destruction, and arrogance before failure. Better to be humble among the poor than share the spoil with the proud. There's a lot in that statement. He who has skill in a matter will succeed. He who has skill in a matter will succeed. How do you develop, how do you develop your skills? You develop your skills by working on the areas you're not so good in. You develop your skills because you're planning your steps. But if you don't plan, you don't increase or fine-tune your skills. So you're not as effective in whatever it is you're trying to do. Saints, we cannot stay we need to be improving daily. We need to be improving daily. We need to be improving daily. A wise-hearted person is said to have discernment. A wise-hearted person is said to have discernment. Now, a lot of people claim they got discernment, and some of them are interesting. A wise-hearted person is said to have discernment, and sweetness of speech adds to learning. Sweetness of speech. Common sense is a fountain of life to one who has it, whereas fools are punished by their own folly. The wise man's heart teaches his mouth, and to his lips it adds learning. The wise man's heart teaches his mouth, and to his lips it adds learning. That's twice we've heard that. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the taste and healing for the body. There can be a way which seems right to a person, but at its end are the ways of death. A working man's appetite acts on his behalf because his hunger presses him on. Fellas, I want to, you don't have to answer. I do want to ask you something, because this happens a lot with me. When I'm working, if I eat too much, I can't eat at work until I'm satisfied like I would at home. Because if I do that, I get lazy. So I got, and I just, I'm not asking you to, you may agree or not agree. I just, fellas, and I mean ladies too, but I heard that. But you go out to lunch, and you see them, they got, this much food. I mean, because all of us, even if you're working in an office, when you go to lunch around what, 2 o'clock, 2:30, if you eat too much, what happens? You start getting a little sleepy. You got to get up and go to the water fountain. But if you're doing physical labor or something like that, I find I get a little sluggish. But if I have just enough that I can feel it in my stomach, I can keep moving. And we need to not only travel light, but we need to start eating a little lighter. Particularly when you're working. and there's something to that. A little bit of hunger keeps a man driven. That testosterone that we got, that testosterone is in us to keep us moving, Alan. And I just call you because I saw you cut your eye over here, and I want you to know I saw you. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying to the fellas is, stay a little lean, stay a little hungry, and stay on purpose. Stay on point. You're a little sharper. And you say, well, Barry, what if I get into a confrontation? If you too full, your food gonna fail you. Because if you get hit in the stomach, it might come out another end. Saints, eating until, particularly in this country, eating until you're satisfied is actually working against you. Now, you set a lemon chest pie in front of me. But I've got, and I'm doing better. I mean, I really don't have a choice because Sherry and Edgar's house is almost ready. I mean, they got a plant-based diet, and the food, it tastes good. The food tastes good. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm glad that you're laughing. But I'm serious about that. Particularly as we get older. Kind of practice. Put it down for a while. And look, just cut you a smaller slice. Of course, now if you got a house full of people, if you cut a smaller slice, somebody else will come in and go finish the whole thing off. But saints, seriously, I mean, because it's nothing better. You're at home, and the atmosphere's right, and you're hungry, and man, that food gets set in front of you, and you just say, man, I'm gonna eat until I'm satisfied. And I'm not saying don't ever do that, because that is nice. I would imagine that's nice, because it's like, again, because of the way we've been taught. This is sin, that's sin, and a lot of it isn't sin. But, oh no. Now, that's not where I was going. So don't y'all be, I'm not trying. Saints, we need to stay a little hungry. And see, not only a little hungry for food, but stay a little hungry for more of Yah. See, because sometimes, we've been in situations where, like I say, you're at home, your refrigerator stocked, and you find yourself, you go back. Now, you're not hungry, but you say, I just want a little something. And you open the refrigerator or you go to your pantry. Now, one thing that I do, because it's my house, when I want something, I'm going to bring it in there. And all my friends was teasing me, said, yeah, you paying the mortgage, but when your sister get there, that's who's running that house. And true to their word, that's exactly what happened. And, drinking water and all of that is so good. And I mean, I'm feeling a lot better and my stomach's going down. But this is what I do. I know what both of them like. And it's funny, married people are funny. Both of them cheat. But no, I'm not. No, not the way cheating we, no, not that. Both of them will relax their plant-based diet. That's what I mean by that. And it's funny because they keep one another on a pretty good path. But see, I know something about each one of them because when they around me, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I entice them. Yes, I do. Oh, you're evil. Yes, I am. Don't pray for me. But getting back to what I was saying earlier, you go back to the refrigerator and you just don't know. I mean, you look at it and you say, oh, well, that's good, but that's not it. That's good, that's not it. That's good. Right there, right at that moment, the Most High is saying to us, it's me you looking for. It's me you looking for. Only I can feel that little something that you want. So what do? All right, yeah, more of you, but I want a piece of pie or something too. But it's him that we're in pursuit of because it goes back to that little bit of hunger, that little bit of yearning. Can I come a little closer? And in my life, he'll say, yeah, you can come a little closer. But son, get a little cleaner. So I'm still working on that. All right. Here's another. Now, in this translation, they say a worthless person digs up evil, and then in parentheses they have gossip. It is like scorching fire on his lips. A deceitful person stirs up strife, and a slanderer can separate even close friends. That's kind of tough. A deceitful person stirs up strife. A worthless person digs up evil gossip. You ever run into somebody, they just gotta, why do we like so much information? What are we going to do with the information once we get it? I mean, we're ate up with it. I mean, and a lot of the stuff that, well, tell me, when I go on YouTube, and I know a lot of those headings are what they call clickbait. The person speaking, they'll twist what they're talking about, and it'll say something like, whoever's your favorite athlete, or they might say, well, in fact, that's safe. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the big thing now, it's really unfortunate. In sports, a while back, if you were a successful professional athlete, that was enough. You were held in high regard. But now, because of the climate and because of everything, and I don't mean climate, i.e. climate control, but in a way, yeah, I guess. But we've gotten to a point in this nation where now it's not enough that you were a successful in whatever your athletic endeavor was. Now, now the players are saying, I'm the GOAT. And that's the greatest of all time. Of course, they get that from Muhammad Ali. And, it's a shame. Other athletes, see, barbershop talk is all it is, but it has elevated now to where now you got the athletes themselves coming out and saying, I was better than so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, hey, man, all of you were great in what you did, in your field of athletic endeavor. But now it's not enough that maybe you made the Hall of Fame. It's bad. It's bad. Now, I mean, why can't we enjoy success for everybody? See, that's the rat race on steroids. You're successful. There's a young man, and he could learn some things, but for years he was kind of ridiculed, and I'm not even going to call his name, but the long and short of it is some of the sports commentators, he started with this social media thing, the athletes are clapping back. See, when you say something about an athlete now, they see it, they may send you a response. See, the internet now, in some, and I don't do Facebook, the other mediums, but folks, we've gotten to a place where it's almost like if you're not the top dog, then you ain't nothing. And that's not true. That's not true. And I pick sports because that's how all of this controversy has started. I mean, and guys are saying some ugly stuff. And I'm like, why are we doing this? This is crazy. Celebrate them all. But this young man, he said, listen, I'm not a bust. I'm not a loser. I amassed almost $60-some million. I brought my mother a house on a golf course. Don't call me a loser. Don't say I was a bust. And some of the other athletes are coming out and say, yeah, man, stop that. If you're not, and I know you all know, if you're not LeBron James or Michael Jordan, then it's like you a scrub. And that's crazy. Athletics has help us obtain wealth. You got a lot of guys that have changed their family financial trajectory for eons. Their kids, although I hope they put some wisdom with it, but their kids are sitting pretty. We all can be successful. We all can be successful. A slanderer can separate even close friends. If we got those tendencies, let's work on them. Let's work on them. If we got those tendencies, let's work on them. Let's start curtailing it. And you know, if we really want to change, he will help us change. If we really want to change. But if we find ourselves, you know, things done got boring, so I got to start something. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Because see, not everybody is going to, not every believer is going to always respond the proper way. And if we can keep that in the back of our minds, perhaps it will soften some of the things that we say to and about one another. Listen to this. A violent man lures his neighbor astray and leads him into evil ways. Oh, this one. Listen at this, 30. One who winks knowingly is planning deceit. One who winks knowingly is planning deceit. One who pinches his lips together has already done wrong. That's interesting. White hair is a crown of honor obtained by righteous living. He who controls his temper is better than a war hero. He who rules his spirit better than he who captures a city. He who controls his temper is better than a war hero. He who rules his spirit better than he who captures a city. One can cast lots into one's lap. I'm going to read this again because I know a lot of preachers don't like the lottery and stuff like that. Because, again, this is another one that can be read different ways. One can cast lots into one's lap, but the decision, the outcome, comes from Yah. Now, when I said that word, outcome, they use the word decision. No, I am not trying to say God is running the lottery. But you know, a lot of church folk, oh, if I win, Lord, yeah, I'm going to give my church 10%. You know, and I'm not saying one way or another anything about that. I'm just reading the scripture One can cast lots into one's lap, but the decision comes from Yah. Yesterday, I had my neighbor across the street is dealing with health issue. He has the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, and his wife has some health issues as well, and they've taken her to the hospital. And from time to time, I've had to go over there because they can't go downstairs anymore. And I told them, when I said that, and that's what folks, if you don't mean it, don't say it. When you get your number and say, yeah, call me anytime, people gonna do that. And you know what? They should. A couple of weeks ago, the ambulance was in front of their house, and I saw it, and I come running out there, and they was putting him in the ambulance, and he didn't want to go. He was fussing at the ambulance people. They were trying to get him going, and he was saying, I'm fine, I'm all right. And I said, A.W., I come running out there. I said, A.W., they know what they're doing. I guess he wanted to say, black boy, get yourself back in the house. He met my dad, and I met his son. And, I just try to be a good neighbor. That's all. I'm not saying, hopefully all of us are trying to be a good whatever you really are. We can start by just being a decent human being. Not what you do, who you are. I'm not going to go any further with that, but then yesterday, I hear all this screaming. Young couple has moved on the left side of me, and that neighbor, she's gone into an assisted living facility. And nice lady, one time she left her key. She was this was U-Crops was still here. She locked her key in her car, and I gave her my number too. And I said, well, if you need anything, particularly after her husband died, and I shared that with you all. I mean, we would speak, do the, hey, neighbor, hey. And she was at her, when her husband passed. And this, see, I purposely moved into that neighborhood because I wanted to be around quiet. Well, that was almost, 14, 16 years ago, and so now youth is coming in. And the little kids are coming in. And that's all right. I like children. I wish I had some. But, it is what it is. But I heard the screaming. He's not breathing. He's not breathing. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. I was shaving. And I'm like, oh, a neighbor's in trouble. And, I mean, they eventually got the ambulance. And I haven't seen, I hope everything's all right. But, I went running over there. I didn't know what to do. But I was, and I said, well, Father, I don't know what to do. But I felt like, well, you at least need to go over there. Who knows? So, what I'm saying, folks, in your life, live. In your life, live. See, we have compartmentalized our lives with a lot of duties. But we're not living. See, living is looking out for your neighbor. See? That's real living. What? Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's Torah. See, that's Torah. And I'm again, I just bring that up because, as we all get older, you start seeing, I think about Princess. She's caring for her mother. And I call occasionally, and I say, hey, how y'all doing? Man, she wearing me out. And I said, well, my mother's mother lived with us for a long time. And, there were 5 children in the house and 2 adults. And I'm going to tell you, we all took turns doing different things. That's work. That's hard. I'm not saying it. I mean, she's glad to do it. She's glad that she's in the position to be able to take it. What? Life don't get any better than that. And sometimes they get a little, she said her mother gets a little feisty, and it kind of make me laugh because, when I used to see her, she seemed just as docile and sweet. Folks, the things that we think mundane are the things that the Most High is looking at in our lives. Work on your relationships for real. If you're too busy to look after people that are in your life, particularly in your bloodline, you're too busy, and you're out of balance. And the most difficult thing for us, and what frustrates us, is we're in pursuit of proper balance, but we all tend to get out of balance constantly. And when we do that, our flank is exposed. Like right now, what can you do about what's going on in your house right now? You're in here. What can you do? Now, I know church folks, well, the Lord got an army of angels around my property. Okay. All right, I'm not going to get into that with you. We miss out a lot about really enjoying life because we're on this, we think we got a mandate from on high. And I just want to leave you with this. What if the mandate from on high was just be decent? I thought I was to go over, no, just be decent. But I done this and I'm ready to take the world for you. Just be decent. Now, I know for a lot of people, but that's not earth-shattering. But it appears a lot of times the things he uses, the simplistic. We, mankind, we complicate everything. Why do we do that? Let's just try practicing being decent in all our endeavors. You can be decent while you pray. You can be decent while you study. You can be decent while you're in the grocery store. You can be decent at a ball game. You can be decent at church. I've been doing a lot of studying and research because a lot of books have been written on the divine purpose. And a lot of people have made a lot of money. And I mean, anybody that's got any kind of reputation in what we call Christendom have written a book on divine purpose. And I just say to you, just be decent. Just be decent. And if we'll do that, the strife will die down. The arguments will go to lower decibels. Because, see, it's hard to be nasty and be decent. It's hard to be sneaky and be decent. It's hard to be manipulative and be decent. Guess what? It's hard to be spiritual if you're not decent. Because that spirit you working up when it's the wrong kind of spirit, it's spirit. But that kind of spirit can be disruptive. So, a lot of people would tell you, yes, I'm spiritual. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Have a nice day. This Proverbs, and all of you know, most of this is attributed to Solomon. And Solomon used to be my favorite. Then I started doing more study, and I started listening to some other scholars, and man, some of the stuff they say about that guy, you'd almost think he didn't make it, which don't nobody know that but the one that made him. But a lot of times in research, I guess they feel like, commentary is somebody's opinion, okay? Just keep that in mind. That's somebody's opinion. Now, they might have a lot of letters behind their name, but it's just their opinion. But when I read Proverbs, it has a settling effect for me because, guys, you know, things have been chaotic for all of us. And some of us are stressed out and we don't even know it. You know, a lot of us don't sleep well. You know, you go to sleep, you wake up, go to sleep, golly. Then right when you think you're getting some good REM sleep, REM sleep, that alarm going off, time to go to work. Some of us got occupations. I think about Greg a lot because I think Greg worked different type of shifts. And that's hard. That's hard to do. But I'm bringing you back to being decent because, see, when you're decent, when you practice being decent, he slows life down. Because a lot of the stuff that we think is important that we got to do, saints, the heavy lifting's already been done. What you think you bringing to the table is icing on the cake. Maybe a little window dressing. Nothing life-changing for the whole country. That's already been done. That's already been taken care of. And the turn of events will unfold as he dictates. So a lot of things that we're all in a flux about, let's let him, you know, now, Father, how you going to fix this? Did you hear what I said? Not what am I going to do about it? How are you going to fix this? We're in turmoil. We need your help. But if I'm doing my divine purpose. No, you're not. Just be decent. God bless you. Pastor, will you come and address your congregation? Thank you for coming, even though you didn't know I was coming. But thank you for coming and staying.